If I have to hear another person tell me how concerned they are about me messing up my kids by doing these travels, I'm going to lose my mind. I've seen a lot of comments, and some people that my wife and I know in real life have kind of mentioned what the impacts of our travels might be on our children. I want to talk about that a little bit because I think that people don't understand. My wife and I are focusing a lot on making this trip as enjoyable as possible for our kids. Like, they are the primary focus of these travels. And the first two places that we went to were actually places that were hosting World School hubs and pop-ups. A World School pop-up hub is a coordinated event where a lot of families show up for a week or two, sometimes longer, and there's an itinerary with all the things that you can do in that particular city that you're visiting, and then the families go out and pick and choose which places and things that they're going to do, and they socialize and network with other families, and the kids can play with other kids, and they go and they see all the sites. And the first two places that we went to, Siem Reap and the Nang, were both places where there was pop-ups being hosted. Our kids have done so much while they've been on this trip. They've made new friends and they've seen so many things. I mean, they've been to water parks. They've been to crazy malls. They've been to circus acts. They've been on boat trips. They've been to different lakes. They've been to floating villages, gone and seen hero rats who sniff out landmines, and they've learned about the culture of Cambodia and the history of the country and a lot of what happened there. They've seen traditional dances. They've hung out with friends. They've played at the pool. We went to Angkor Wat and they've seen ancient temples, and they saw the Tomb Raider temple. And they had so much fun in Siem Reap. And then we went to Bangkok. And when we were in Bangkok, we took them to the snake farm. We took them to the Discovery Kids Museum. We took them to the Science Center and the planetarium. We took them to night markets and we ate bugs. And we did so many things that my kids are just having such a fun time with. And then when we went to Vietnam, we did all the things on the itinerary there. We took them to a water park in Vietnam, which had dinosaurs and little place to kayak and restaurants. And we had a mud bath where we sat in a pool of mud. We sat in a giant hot tub from a natural springs. We did so much stuff when we were in Vietnam that was just awesome. They went to pool parties. They went to a foam party. We played at the beach. We boogie boarded. These are all things that we have done in the last month. Right? And now we're in Bali and we've got plans to go to the monkey forest. We went snorkeling in Nusa Penida. I think that's how you pronounce it. Looking for manta rays and sea turtles. And then we went, and after that boat tour, we walked around the island a little bit and found our own little private spot on a beach. And my wife and I played with the kids for a while. And we went and hung out at a beach club there for the rest of the day because we were all tired. And we hung out in the pool. And now we have plans to go on an ATV ride. And we have plans to go to the other side of the island and see some of the different stuff that's around here, some of the temples that are here. And like, there's just so much that we have done while we've been on this trip that my kids are learning from and enjoying. And we're all bonding as a family more. We're spending so much more time as a family. And the funny thing is that so many people worried that we're screwing up our kids, that we're messing them up. Are we a little homesick? Yeah, we all are. My kids are a little homesick. My wife and I are a little homesick. That's normal, right? You know what's not normal? It's not normal to put your kid in a classroom for 8 hours a day, staring at a book, staring at a tablet now. I guess they give them tablets, under fluorescent lights, being told to sit down and shut up, giving them the same old ass information and books that we've been giving them forever. Half of the books are full of bullshit. The other half is lies. We still teach our kids, because my wife has been homeschooling our kids since COVID happened, because that's the age that they would have started school, and they weren't able to start school. Well, they would have been able to start school, but they were going to make them sit on camera with a mask on. The concern from a lot of people don't come from sincere concerns. It comes more from them being fearful of an alternative way of raising your children that they don't agree with, that's different from the norm. And that's what I genuinely think a lot of those concerns or those fears for our children's safety and education come from. I don't think anybody has had bad intentions. I don't think that any of our friends or family that don't necessarily agree with this feel that we want to do bad by our kids. I think a lot of them know that we love our kids and we want them to have the best lives possible. And I think that most people love their kids and want them to have the best lives possible. At least you hope that most people do. And I think that since this is so different and it breaks away from the norm, it breaks away from what everyone else is doing, that's where it raises eyebrows and it makes people question whether or not we're good parents or if this is going to be good for our kids. All I know is that I think about the world that we're moving towards, the world where everyone stares at a cell phone and no one interacts, the world where your social media following and the amount of likes you get on a post represent how good of a person you are. With that said, make sure you hit that like button. But I'm being serious. We're moving towards a day and age that my generation, because I'm old and I'm 40, and I remember the days when I didn't have internet, and I remember playing outside, and I remember how different things were back then and how different things are now. And we're moving towards a day and age that I don't like. I don't like what we're moving towards. I do want to break away from the norm. And I understand that that's not going to sit right with some people. But I don't want my kids to have the life that is planned out for them by other people. I want them to have the lives that I think that they should have, which is exploring new worlds and meeting new people and learning about new cultures and seeing architecture that they would have only ever seen in a book or on a video. They get to actually go and see these buildings in real life and interact with these things in real life. And they're having real experiences. They're not sitting in a classroom being told to sit down and shut up. And I know that it's not normal, and I don't care. My wife and I, we don't care. We don't want to raise our kids to be normal. I don't want to have a normal life. Normal is very safe, but very boring. Everyone who lives a normal life seems to be unhappy and depressed. Because you know what's also normal? Depression and anxiety and meds and ADHD medicine. Because we try to force our kids into these molds that no people are supposed to be in. Like, we're not supposed to sit behind a desk all day. Like, we're not. We're biologically not built for that stuff. So I don't want to do that to my kids. And I don't think I'm screwing them up by providing them a different life that breaks them away from that, that gets them out of the matrix. As cheesy as that whole matrix thing sounds, it does make a lot of sense. And I don't agree with the lives that everybody wants us to live. I want us to have exciting lives. I want my kids, for when they grow up, to be like, man, we got to do so much stuff. When people meet them and they make friends, their friends are going to ask them all kinds of questions about all the places that they've been and all the things that they've seen and all the people that they've met and all the cultures they've gotten to experience. Like, how is that messing up your kids? It is mind-boggling to me for people that are so stuck in the way that the system is that they cannot see any other way to live a life. Like, people are just so convinced that normal is good and that anything outside of it is bad. I made a video months ago talking about how we educate our kids, how they're advanced in math and reading, and they're ahead of their age group. And that's all from homeschooling, mostly my wife, because she teaches our kids and she's the one that spends most of the time doing the educational stuff with them. I never take a moment not to teach my kids. I am very honest with my children. I always give them extremely long-winded answers to any questions that they have. When I don't know something, I'm not scared to tell them, hey, I don't know this, but let's go look it up. Let's go Google it. Let's go find the answer. Let's go learn together, because that's the type of mindset that I want to give my kids. And that's what I think we're doing in this whole thing, is we're learning together and we're exploring together. I don't think that seeing the world with my kids and spending more time with them and giving them all these experiences is going to mess them up in any way. I just want to say that if you're on the fence about traveling with your family and exploring the world with your children because you're worried that you're going to mess them up, don't get me wrong, there was a little bit of that as well for us, because of course we're going to question what we're doing because we want to do the best by our kids. But know that at the end of the day, these experiences and these memories are going to last them a lifetime. They only get one childhood, and we only get so much time with our kids. So enjoy it while you have it and make the most of it. And we're making the most of it by traveling with them. All right. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.